We'll just. Okay, maybe we weren't recording, but now we are. So how about Tyler? You start us up. What was your first job, or what are you doing this summer?
First job, I worked at the school district doing IT, and that was just a basic first job.
Mhm.
Not the most fun, very boring, but it was good. Very flexible, which was nice. And then this summer, apart from this, I'm looking at a couple different jobs, like with the fly fishing shops downtown.
Oh, awesome.
So yeah. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
that would be really fun.
Yeah.
I feel like they're always looking for people, so
Yeah.
that's a great part-time summer job. Isabella, how about you?
My first job was at my parents' gym. When I was like in 8th grade, I worked behind the desk.
Oh, awesome.
Until like they sold it like last year. So, and now I'm working here and at the climbing wall at the hot springs over there. My mom is the fitness director, so.
Yeah, awesome.
I think my first job was working at a dog daycare. And that was
Nice.
I worked there
That's
for a
nice.
while. Yeah, that was a great job.
That's an awesome first job.
But
That's fun.
I pretty much just garden now. I also work at the Sheridan, but I'm not doing that to do this. So
Right,
just
well, that's a
out
good trade-off.
gardening. Yeah.
Nice. Have you worked at the Botanic Park? I know that they're always
No.
looking for like
I
people
was
to help
thinking
out.
about it, but I worked at Bear Park in the permaculture garden, and then I
Awesome.
applied to Elkstone, but they had already filled all their summer spots, so I didn't get that, which was a bummer. But
Well, maybe
hopefully
we'll
next
visit.
year.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
still a cool place to see.
Oh,
They've
yeah.
done such an awesome job with that farm.
It's awesome, yeah.
Yeah. Well, great. Awesome. I always like to hear. So, first jobs are always kind of funky. You're like 14 or 15 and it's just a good time. So yeah, we'll just start right off. I'm gonna fix this contact sheet. That's kind of like my number one thing I wanted to address to make sure that we have the phone numbers right. I think it just got shifted. Is this correct?
Yeah.
It is. Okay, so for whatever reason, whatever I printed is not right, but what's on the drive is accurate. So I don't know how that happened, but just don't use the handbook if you're gonna call someone. I think that all the staff numbers are correct, because I think mine was good. Yeah, staff numbers are all good. So for whatever reason, the intern numbers printed weird, but they're correct on the drive. So if you ever need to contact someone, just go this way. So sorry about that confusion initially. But I want to go over the drive with you. So yesterday, everybody got access to their email, right? And everybody made sure that that's working. I know we did that a little bit in person yesterday. So to access the drive, I usually via my email, or if you go to a new tab, you'll go to the drive and we'll have you can make shortcuts. I need to put this somewhere else. There we go. So you'll make a shortcut to our YVSC internship program drive. So I will share the YVSC drive with you and you'll get an email about that. So when you click on it, you'll be able to make a shortcut. And in order to make a shortcut, is anyone like super familiar with Google Drive already?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I use it a
Okay.
lot.
Well, it's always good to go over. For me, this was a big learning curve because my previous job used Teams. So I didn't know any of this like a year and a half ago. So, but it is pretty intuitive. So YVSC internship program is the drive that is going to be important to you guys, and you can make a shortcut or move it. So I usually just move it to wherever I want it to be. You can move it to your main drive or shared with me. And you can, I don't really understand the function of that, but So here's where you can choose where you want to move it to. You can star it, which kind of makes it a priority in your folders. But it's this internship program drive is gonna be the drive for you guys. And then there's the archive, which you guys are able to look at, that kind of has like all previous interns' work. So if you're ever wanting to look at examples, I usually will provide some that I feel like are good and helpful, but you guys are summer 2023. Oh, I don't want to move it there. Okay, so interns. So this is where you guys are gonna be living essentially for the next 12 weeks. This has everything that you'll need. Everything along the bottom is kind of stuff that's for everyone to share. So that contact list, due dates. And this has, if there's a rough draft involved in the assignment, it tells you what week that's due, and then the final draft. And then your orientation checklist, which everyone's probably peeked at, everyone's project proposals. This was yesterday's meeting, which I'm sure no one is going to watch again. And then this project tracking sheet, which some interns have found helpful. I was telling them yesterday, you don't have to use this, but if you would like, I think it's a nice way to stay organized. You can kind of keep track of all the things that you're planning on doing and when, and then you can kind of keep track of yourself in progress, having issues. And then I have access to it as well. So if it's something says experiencing issues, we can check in and I can see how I can help with that. And then everybody has a tab down here, so that's kind of how you'll use this. But again, it's up to you. Some interns have used it, some haven't. This program is very kind of autonomous for you. I want you guys to feel really like in control of your projects and kind of your flow and what you're doing. So whatever is working for you, feel free to do it. If not, nothing is being graded or structured in that kind of way. It's all for your own personal gain. So whatever helps you. And then you'll see up here, everybody has a folder. There's nothing in them at the moment. And those will kind of start to be populated as we have assignments and things that we're working on. You can just save everything into there. And then we have some other overarching folders that everybody has access to, like our weekly meetings. I'll always have our agendas in there, and I'll share those with you every Monday so that you know what we're going to talk about in our meeting and then what is going on that week. And then deliverables, this is where most things are housed that you'll have to create. So most things are already kind of set up and you'll just make copies. So that's kind of the biggest thing, because these are all templates. So like for the annotated bibliography, which we'll be working on in the coming weeks, I think that's due in week 4 or something, so you have some time. But this is basically for you guys to, I know you're all in school and actively doing research all the time, but it's a skill that really you can't practice enough. And for your projects, we want you to do some background research and familiarize yourself with the topics. So this is kind of a setup for that. And if you're not sure how to make a copy, you just go File, Make a Copy. And then you can say Tyler Annotated Bibliography, and then you can say where you want it to go. So then you go back out into interns and you can go Tyler and then select. And then I always say share with the same people just so that the access remains the same, and then make a copy. So now that same exact document is copied, so we're not editing the template, and this is Tyler's document. So that's how we want you to utilize those templates, and they're pretty much available for all of the assignments that we'll be doing. What else is here? We have, if you're creating a document or some kind of communication and you need logos, those are all here. Images, we love pictures are amazing if you guys can take pictures anytime you're at an event or doing something noteworthy, or even to kind of document your experience. Pictures are great. And then it's also nice to have as many pictures as possible for your final presentation as you're explaining what you did and what you worked on. It's really nice to have photos, even if it feels like it's not a real moment. It's kind of nice to have as much of the experience captured. So you'll upload photos to this folder, and selfishly, I don't really know how other computers work. I'm very Mac centric, but I know that, so I usually will like airdrop photos to my computer and then just upload them here, and you can like drag and drop them. I'm not sure how PCs work, to be honest, but I think it's pretty similar. You can probably email photos to yourself and then like easily upload them right here. But if you're ever having issues with that, let me know. Whoa. And then headshots and bios, we would love to have those by tomorrow. We're gonna put a newsletter out early next week, and we really want to highlight you guys and introduce the community to you. And it's always really exciting, and everyone looks forward to getting to know the interns. So make sure you send me a photo, and I have Chloe's right now, so she did a great job. Just any picture of you that shows what you look like, and then a short blurb. And we do have examples. This is a little repetitive from yesterday, but I'm going to do it really quickly for Tyler. If you go to our team, you can see all the examples of this. So if you want to read through a couple of bios just to get a feel for it, but you have some creative freedom here, kind of whatever you would like to share about yourself.
Did you just put that in a Word document? Chloe?
So she just emailed it.
Just put it in a, oh, okay.
She just emailed it to me, and then I created this, but if you guys want, you could practice using the drive, and feel free to just kind of start here and add your photo and your bio there, and that would actually be easier for me. It would take a step out, so everything will be here, and then yeah, we'll add you guys to the newsletter, which will be cool. Then I think there was one more. Where did I? Oh no, that was it. So yeah, and then your individual folders. So this is kind of where you're going to be getting everything you need and where you'll be saving everything to. And yeah, the more diligent you are with saving things here, the easier everything is going to be. So that's kind of the rundown of the drive. Let me see if I forgot to mention anything. Tyler, you said you got your email. So that's great. So you guys should have access to this. So I am going to share it. So we'll choose Tyler, or wait, no, that's the other one. Tyler, I'm gonna share it with everyone. So Macy, Chloe, Isabella, and Ellie. Okay. Great, so you guys should all have that drive now. And have full access to it. And if you have any issues with that, definitely let me know, but it should be pretty straightforward. And add it to your main drive if you want, or house it wherever you'd like, whatever makes most sense, but it should be in your shared with me is probably where it'll exist right when you open it, and then you can move it to your drive, or you can star it, or whatever makes sense to you. Okay, so the calendar, that's the other big thing. The more that you add to your calendar, the better. I was telling Isabel a little bit yesterday, your schedule is really up to you. We just want to make sure that you're working at least 15 hours a week, and no more than 20. You're welcome to work full 20 every single week. But that's kind of what you want to be working within. And we really have, we want you guys to choose your schedule and kind of manage your time, because I know everybody has different things going on. You're welcome to use the office and we would love for you to be here. Any day, Monday through Friday, from between 8 to 5 working hours. But if you would like to get hours done on the weekend or in the evening, you're totally free to do that. But the calendar is great. It's helpful to keep you organized, and it helps if you're wanting to make a meeting with a staff mentor or another staff member. It makes things really easy to see what people's schedules are. So I think you guys should have access to this. If not, I'll make sure that you do. But on the side here, you'll have all the staff members' calendars, and you can just click them on, and then you see their whole schedule. So this is really helpful. Since we are all using Google kind of suite, we're all really active on our calendars, so they're always up to date and accurate. Some people add more detail than others, but it's usually really helpful if you're trying to schedule meetings. So, and you'll have your own calendar that looks like this as well. And I definitely encourage you guys to add whatever you want. I use it for like everything, my own school stuff, personal stuff, just to keep myself all in one place. So, and then we also have this YVSC internal tab, which will tell you, oh, it should say holiday here. It might just be someone just needs to add that, but we have different things up here, like newsletter content, Yampa Basin Rendezvous, which is an event, a really awesome event that talks about water conservation in the Yampa Valley, and that's happening next week, which all of you are welcome to attend if you're interested. I can send you the info and the registration link. It's free. It's at CMC. It's 2 full days. So it's, you can kind of go through the itinerary and decide what you'd like to attend. If you would like to attend any of that stuff, I'll probably be at a few of the talks. I know the keynote speaker is an impressive writer, and she's going to be there on Thursday evening talking about her book, Water Always Wins. So I think everybody's pretty excited about that. But yeah, so there's all sorts of different tabs. This will kind of help you stay connected and know what's going on. So definitely use this, and all you have to do, super intuitive, you just kind of click, add all your details, definitely add guests. Like if you want to have a meeting with someone, add them. And then when you hit save, it'll ask, do you want me to send an invite to that person? And you just say yes or send or whatever it is. So yeah, super helpful. Really great way to keep yourself organized. You can put assignments, due dates in here, and then also vacations or trips. So if you are going to go on vacation, it would be really helpful to have it in the calendar so that I can kind of see when, if I should know if you're not going to be here, so I'm not like worried or anything. And then on that same train of talking about vacation, we'll quickly go over your email, setting up like a I'm out of the office email, and you guys might know how to do this, but you'll go to the tool symbol and then all settings or whatever that option was. And then you scroll down a bit, and this is also where you'll set up your signature. So first I'll show you the out of the office. So I'll usually just copy something from another person's away, usually like I will be out of the office from this date to this date, like for any immediate inquiries, contact, Cody or Paul or whoever, I'm looking forward to getting back to you soon. Something brief just to let people know that you're gone. So that's all right here. And then up here is your signature. So what we ask you guys to do is to just copy and paste this. So you can go to one of your previous emails from me and just copy my signature and then just change the info up here accordingly. And you guys can just write, you can write intern, but like your priority area, so like energy intern or collaboratives initiative intern. So that's what you'll put as your title. And the pronouns is up to you if you'd like to add that. That's pretty much it for that. I think those are the two most useful settings, unless anything is wonky that we need to fix. Everything else usually is automatically kind of the way that you would probably want it to be. So I wouldn't tinker with it unless something is wrong. Does anyone have questions about any of that? Okay, awesome. Great. So now I was gonna take you guys around the office to just show you. I'm not sure who's here right now, but we can pop into some offices just to see who is where. And I also wanted to show you the spaces that are available for you guys. So for the recording, I'm sorry, but we're gonna pause it for like 5 minutes. I wonder if I should stop the recording. Okay, we're gonna leave the recording. I don't want it to be multiple videos, so we're gonna leave it. You can just fast forward this part. So this is Michelle's office, our executive director, who I'm not sure, have you met her? Or well, I guess you all met her in your interviews. But, this is Michelle's office. With Pete works. You're a trusted leader in other ways, where you will be chatting with Pete and Maddie also shares this office. It's a soil home for the water and office and the director, Quinn, and we'll be away on a fun trip with some of that. We'll talk about them more later. And welcome. Great. Okay. So I'm not just ask. See over here. And there's a little space out back, which is nice to use it. And then restrooms are here in the hallway. There's two right here. You can observe. Right there. Collaborative. Spots right there. Spots there and upstairs. Chat with people on the questions if you're here. Wow. Right here, of course, you guys have access to this. It also has a copying function. And here is kind of like any of your materials that you might need. Here. And that's most of the amenities really, but if you ever need an email, I'm going to provide it. It's very green. But yeah, so this is your office. So please feel comfortable working at any of those available spaces at any time. Okay. We're back with the recording. Hopefully you fast forwarded through that. Okay, so now I want to just go over some of the assignments and the structure again, more in depth. So, like I said, we'll have a weekly meeting. Those will be on Mondays from 10 to 12, unless that's an issue for anyone's schedule. I'm gonna leave that in that time frame. Next week, we're off on Monday because it's Memorial Day, so we're gonna be doing our meeting on Tuesday. Oops, wrong week. Tuesday next week from 11:30 to 1:30. Does that work for everybody? Okay, awesome. So I'm gonna leave that there also. And a lot of the weeks we'll have guest speakers or we'll do kind of like a workshop. So we do a resume workshop, professional communication and research. We kind of talk about a bunch of different just professional development skills. And we'll have guest speakers from our staff, kind of letting you know their in-depth background to different people in the community, some board members, potentially a council or a county commissioner. I know we're gonna have a previous Olympian come and talk with you guys in July. So just some different people from the community that can provide some background on leadership or skills or we might also have some folks from Colorado Parks and Wildlife or the Forest Service come and talk to you guys about some of the topics that they deal with, just to let you know like how those types of organizations function, what they're working on, what the impacts of those projects are, to get you guys more familiar with that scope of work. So that's kind of what our weekly meetings will look like. And like I was saying, I'll always send out the agenda in an email on Monday morning, possibly Sunday night, since our meetings are at 10, just so that you have an idea of what's going on. And that will also inform you of the assignments that you should be working on that week and what's due. So, and again, those, I'll send them in an email, but they'll also be in the drive if you ever want to view them there. So the personal development plan, we went over this a little bit yesterday, but you'll use this template, and this is kind of filled out from a previous intern. So just to give you an idea of what this can look like, we want you to identify essentially 2 soft skills. And so that could be like public speaking or communications or anything like that. And then 2 hard skills. So, you know, improve data collection methods or technical writing skills or things like that. So we just want you to identify a couple of those things. And this is just so that you can reflect on the experience and be able to identify what improved and how you feel like you've gained from this experience, and also helps keep you focused throughout the term so that you can kind of keep your goals in mind.
Did you say 2 hard skills and 2 soft skills?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And so I left this populated, this example, just so that you guys could see what someone else's thoughts were on this. But definitely make it your own and tailor it to your project and your personal career ideas and what you're really trying to strive for. So this document is due on Tuesday and we'll go over it together so that we can all kind of be aware of each other's goals and help to encourage and support each other in that. And again, here this is in the drive, in the templates. And so you'll just make a copy of that and put it in your folder. And then the orientation checklist. I feel like we've gone over this quite a bit. It's mostly onboarding stuff, a lot of things that you'll take care of really quickly while you're here, like setting up your email, bringing your I-9 documents, so your passport or your license and birth certificate. Did you happen to bring that with you?
Yeah.
Perfect. So everybody's done that. Cross these things off. And then setting up your email, everybody's done that. This is being so weird. Your I-9 documents, your W-2, which sets up your direct deposit, and all of that good stuff. And yesterday, Kate showed us how Harvest works. I can show you that separately, just not to go over it again, but it's a very intuitive program. And you can add in hours after the fact, or you can do a timer. I do a timer every day and I forget about it every day. So I can't say that that's necessarily the right way to go unless you're really good about timers. And then setting up your calendar. So a lot of this you'll kind of get through really quickly. So don't be intimidated by this long list. The main thing is really connecting with your staff mentor this week, at least reaching out and then having a meeting by the end of next week. So we want to be able to really nail down your project proposals by the 3rd week. So the week after next, so that you can start getting going, because 12 weeks goes by really quickly. And the summers are always very busy. So it's great to get that going as soon as possible. I feel like pretty much everybody has a really solid project. Their mentors are really aware of what they're going to be doing, and those guidelines are pretty clear. So you guys should be set up for success already, but I want you guys to understand what that project is. So setting up that meeting with your staff mentor is definitely a major priority for this week. So I'd like you guys to do that by tomorrow. Just setting it up. The meeting can be next week. I know Paul's not here this week. And same with Ryan. Oh, and separately, actually, wait. Nope, never mind. Sorry, he was talking about Ellie. There's 3 interns in Resilient Land and Water. So sorry, I got a little confused for a second in my head. There's a meeting tomorrow with the Forest Service that he was saying that he wanted someone to join, but I think it was Ellie and she's not going to be here. So, and then your personal development plan, and then starting your annotated bibliography. That due date is not right. That's not due until June 19th. So I think I more so had it, I wrote May 30th just to have you start thinking about it. But that'll probably start to really get wheels on it when you understand your project a little more and what you should be researching. And then I'll also talk about either next week or the week after, like what type of research is appropriate for that. I'm sure you guys already know, like peer-reviewed articles are great. Like well-known organization websites are great, like anything that's super legitimate. Obviously no Wikipedia, even though it is strangely accurate sometimes. But yeah, I think you guys know all that. So, and then I typically use APA formatting. Is that what you guys are all familiar with? Okay, so yeah, that's what I would prefer. It says MLA, but I would say APA. That's what I generally feel like, especially in the sciences, is what's preferred. So stick to that. I'll actually just edit this really quickly. Okay. Where was I? Orientation checklist. Okay, and then next week, oh, so Tyler, if you would like to receive course credit for this internship, that's an option. I think it's like. I shouldn't even guess because I'm actually not sure. But you can receive credits. If you're interested in that, let me know. And it would be essentially, I think it would be through CMC.
Okay.
So I'll contact Nathan. He's the director of the sustainability program over there, and he'll help coordinate. It's one of those things where it's like when they give you the credit, you have to like you have to like go through the program online like within 24 hours. So if you do want the credits, and we would actually do the process at the end of the term. But it's good for me to have a heads up now so that I can let Nathan know that that's going to be something that he needs to help us with. So if you're interested in that, just definitely let me know within the first couple weeks here. And then your project proposal. So this will hopefully be in its formal form by June 5th. So that's the beginning of the 3rd week. I'm happy to help you with this, but your staff mentor should be the one kind of helping you refine that. And that is in the drive as well. This has everyone's project proposal. And like I was kind of saying, these are my cliff notes of everyone's proposals. So I'd like you to kind of go in and refine this and really, because these are really just thoughts that I wrote down when I met with your mentors. So I want you guys to make that a cohesive thought with a plan. So that will be June 5th. So you have all week next week, and then the beginning of the week after that'll be due. And then, yeah, meeting with your staff mentor, which is definitely your priority for next week. And then you guys, when you do meet with them, and I'm sure they'll remind you to set up a standing weekly appointment, usually for an hour. But again, this is very up to you and the flow of your project. So whatever you need, some weeks maybe you meet with them more than once, some weeks maybe not at all, maybe you're out of town. So again, this is all up to you, but this is just the structure that we find helpful, is a weekly meeting. So, and then you can put that on your calendar, which is always fun. And that I'll show you really quick. To do like recurring, you can just click on like the time, and then when it says does not repeat, you can say weekly on Thursday, or you can do custom, and it'll tell you, so okay, once a week on Thursdays, starting on June 1st and then ending. Oh wait, ends, never mind. Because it's starting when we clicked on it. So this is the ending date. Ending, let's say, because the last week of the internship is this first full week of August. So ending there. And then it's done. And that's that. And then you can add your mentor as well and do that process. Now I have too many tabs open. Okay. So yeah, that's really the main things for these first 2 weeks. It looks like a lot more than it is. But after the first 2 weeks is when things really start to gain momentum, and you're really kind of in the groove working on your project, starting to think about attending events. You're required to attend 2 events throughout your term. You're welcome to do more, as Kate was saying, and I wasn't totally clear on this, but I think depending on your hours and what the event is in relation to what your project is, you may or may not get paid. Like if you had a busy week with your internship and you're already close to 20, but you'd like to work an event over the weekend, I think you wouldn't get paid for the whole time, because we don't want you to go over 20, but it would still count toward the requirement, like if it happened that way, if that makes sense, if I'm understanding that correctly. But again, if you're ever unsure about a schedule or there's an event and you're kind of in that situation, talk to Kate and she'll clarify it, because she's the kind of our HR person. She kind of is like the everything behind the scenes lady, so she can answer any questions if you're unsure about your hours. And some events that are coming up, so we have the Yampa Basin Rendezvous. That's next week for anyone interested in water. I'm gonna show you really quickly. What that's about. So this year's theme is snows, flows, and drought. And it's a 2-day event. It's free, but you do have to register, and there are excursions. Last year they went up to the Snowtell site on Buff Pass. And it's just a really awesome collaborative effort with some people from CMC and the upper Yampa Conservancy District and some of the other like major water organizations in the area. And they usually let you know of other opportunities and things like that. So this isn't the email with the schedule, but so that's next week on Thursday and Friday. I really want to show you guys the schedule for that so that I'll forward it to you in case you are interested.
So that's one of the community events.
Yeah, so that would be a community event. I'm not, again, like that would be one I'm not sure if it would be paid hours. I feel like it would be, but I'm like new to what the internship hours look like. Okay, here we go. Here's the agenda. Oh my gosh, am I not online? Oh yeah, and Tyler, if you need the Wi-Fi, so it's YVSC, there's either 5G or there's a non-5G, it doesn't matter which one you pick. And the password is, when you're ready, I'll tell it to you.
Alright, so it's YVSC.
I think it's just YVSC, and then there's a 5G option or a non-5G, and it doesn't matter, either one.
And then the password.
And the password is capital W 0 RLD key @S.
Alright, got it.
Awesome. So here's a flyer for the talk, for the author of this book, Water Always Wins. That's in the evening, from 6 to 7:30, also up at CMC. She's the keynote speaker for the event, so I think she may be speaking more than once, but this is her main talk. I'll find the agenda and I'll email it to you guys. I'll make a note to do that. So that's something that's coming up next week. We also, next weekend, we have Yampa River Fest. That's hosted by Friends of the Yampa. It's always a really fun event. It's all day long. And we'll be doing zero waste services for that event. And that was my previous role at YVSC. Tyler, I was telling them yesterday, I worked in zero waste for the last 1.5 years, and I recently just moved into the Forest Resilience Projects Manager role, and I'm also running the internship program. So big change for me, but I'm still kind of helping out with zero waste to make sure that everything runs smoothly. So we will be at the River Festival next Saturday. If anybody would like to work that event, let me know. I know I always need help with like setup and takedown, but we do have staff for that event that is scheduled. So I think we may need 1 or 2 people in the afternoon if anyone is interested in doing that. I think it's like a 4-hour shift. And that usually involves standing at waste stations and kind of helping direct the traffic of waste and making sure everything goes in the right place. So if that's of interest to you, you should get paid for that. And that's next Saturday, and then we also have the Steamboat Marathon is next Sunday. And that's another zero waste event, so if you have any interest in that, let me know and I can connect you with Win. And then coming up in mid-June, we're gonna have an opportunity to do a regeneration planting on a burn area on the Muddy Slide Fire. So that's gonna be a 3-day project, mid-June with Ryan. And, you're all encouraged to join any of these events that sound interesting to you.
So all of the ones you just mentioned are the community events, because I know we have to do 2 of them, like minimum of 2.
Yeah, so, 2 events, they can kind of be whatever you want. We also have the Carbon Free Challenge in June, which is where people kind of rack up points based on their mileage of either biking, walking, or using public transportation instead of driving. So that's a fun one to get involved in. And I want to make sure you guys are all in the newsletter too, so I'll add all of your emails to the newsletter so that you get that. Do any of you already get the newsletter by any
I
chance?
get the
You do?
newsletter,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. The newsletter is like the perfect way to know exactly what's gonna be happening that month. But I'll also keep you guys in the loop. So that's kind of some things that are coming up. We already looked at the project tracking, kind of stoplight Excel sheet. And then, for project proposals, I'm gonna hold off on that for 1 second and talk about the newsletter. So do you get the Next Generation newsletter?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 2. So there's the YVSC newsletter, and then we have the Next Generation newsletter, which is kind of like the intern focused newsletter. Since we have internships pretty much year round, we always have interns contributing to that document. And it's kind of geared towards youth and young professionals. So I'm gonna show you. I had a feeling that was too specific. Okay, that's just the sign up. Hold on. Having too many tabs open is always my downfall. Okay. Templates, okay. So we also have, we have the Next Generation newsletter, which all of you will contribute an article to. Let me show you, so in this document, which is in your drive, this is the calendar for due dates for that. So the first one's coming up really soon. Hopefully someone will be willing to do that one, and I'll definitely help you with it. Whoever decides to do that first one, but it's not due, it's due on the 12th, so that's week 4. So you have more time than it seems like, but we'll assign these. And then it'll be geared towards your project and whatever your topic is. And I'll show you in here is kind of like your guidelines, so some topic examples and kind of how that should be focused. And then you can talk to Kate before anything gets written or published, and she's kind of like our communications guru, so she'll help you really narrow down the scope of your topic, and also she'll help you edit it. So it should just be 200 to 300 words, so nothing super crazy. It's kind of like if you've ever seen like the Talking Green article in the pilot, just kind of a short blurb about something specific. And so this shows a little more details about the formatting. And then you usually want to have a picture with it. So this can be your headshot, or if there's a photo of your project at that when you're doing your article, that is a good thing to add. And then, okay, this is what I wanted to show you. This is so weird. Just to show you an example of what this looks like. So these will be posted to the website, and then this newsletter is sent out via email to all of our subscribers. So this is an example. So this was so this it's compiled with opportunities for youth to get involved. So this is a zero waste opportunity, paid staff, kind of recruitment, and then the sign up. And then we like to add like podcasts or books or things for people to engage with in their free time. So if you ever come across a good podcast or book or type of media, definitely let us know. We're always taking suggestions for things to add to this section. Then we'll usually add a sustainability tip of the month. This one was done during the Carbon Free Challenge, so encouraging people to ride their bikes. And then there's always links to more things. YVSC Explores is kind of a campaign that we do where we have kind of random events. Last year we did some on composting where we visited the compost site. Or like this year, last week we did a geothermal workshop to inform community members on what geothermal electrification looks like and how you can heat your home that way. And I feel like this newsletter doesn't have an intern highlight. This was written by Thomas, who is an intern, but I don't think that is exactly what I was thinking of. Oh, maybe it is. Okay, so they can be pretty short. So this was Thomas's article. So pretty brief, a photo of a project that he worked on. So it'll be the very first thing. This is Rachel. She did an awesome project on water monitoring and communicating that with the community through our website. So she tells a little bit about herself and what she's working on. And kind of what her goals are in her career and how she wants to move things forward. So again, I want you to have some creative license here, but it's good to have some examples for what you're aiming for. Okay, and that wasn't written by an intern. So yeah, this shouldn't feel like a huge undertaking, kind of brief, and you can talk with your mentor about it, you can talk with me about it and Kate to make sure that that's in a good spot. And then we have the rough draft due dates. And then at the final due date, that'll be the week that it is published. And then in this document, we also asked all the interns to do a blog, and those are due at the same time for everyone. We used to post them kind of chronologically, but now we just post them all at the end. So we want you to have your topic by like mid-June. And again, this is kind of like the Next Generation newsletter, but this is going to be a little bit more in depth. So newsletter, as you can see, it was a little bit of kind of an intro to who you are in your project. And it's pretty brief, just kind of a hello and welcome into the newsletter. And then the blog is a little bit more in depth. So again, we have all of your guidelines. And it can be conversational, but we also want it to be informative. We want it to be relevant to your topic, but it could be a little bit different. So like, one thing I'm thinking of is we had a zero waste intern in the spring, and she did a restaurant composting project where she helped to create a manual for informing new restaurants of how they could get involved with the project and kind of what it would take for them to acquire composting in their business. But her blog post kind of dove into composting. So she really went into like the state of composting right now in Colorado. She did some research on like law and policy with composting to kind of give background. So the blog could also be a really good place to make use of your research and compile a succinct topic that's related to your overarching project. And we always want an image with that as well. And we'll look at some examples for this also. So I think this is the one I was just talking about. Yeah, so you'll make a little title for it, you'll post a photo, and then this is a bit longer, but still not like, you know, a 10-page paper. So you guys can read these examples to help give you ideas. But this looks more like, you know, a full news article or a blog post. And these will all go on our website where they'll remain for people to view at any time. And this is another one from last term. Alex, he did an electrification project on fleet vehicles for local businesses. So he wrote, and his is a little bit shorter, that's totally fine. I think the document talks about a word requirement, I'm sure. So this one's 400 to 600 words. So that's another kind of underlying project that you'll be working on throughout the term, and that is due. So that's going to be, the final draft will be mid-July. So yeah, just another thing to keep in mind, and you can start working on this at any time. You can get rid of some of these tabs because for the place here. I think that's mostly it. At the very end, you're going to be creating a project report, and that template is right here. And so you'll fill this out entirely. And I think it used to be called something different, so I got a little confused yesterday. It was the like project planning thing that was that really long document. So that's going to be this. So that's essentially your report for the very end, where you're kind of identifying what your objectives were, what your methods were, what actions you took, your timeline, what you got out of it, and if you have any professional suggestions for YVSC through what you learned and observed, if there's any ways that you can help us strengthen these programs, or if there's anything that you see while you're working on your project, we value your input. So this is kind of like your master document where you're going to have your overall report at the very end. And then with that, you'll do a presentation. So that template is also here. Everyone's will follow the same format. And that has kind of like a systematic way of it too. And so I think starting in the either week 9 or 10, we will start putting these together and presenting them to each other so that you guys are really comfortable with your presentation and that you get lots of feedback so that it's really dialed in by the time of your actual presentation. So this will be due, let's see. So okay, we don't have okay, rough draft July 31st. So I think that's either 1 or 2 weeks before the final presentation, but we give you plenty of time to have it so that you can make edits and really make sure that it's perfect. I'm gonna delete some of this. Okay. So that's kind of all of the assignments in depth, which I realize is super overwhelming to talk about all at once, but it should pan out in a comfortable way so that you're busy every week, but not overwhelmed. And I am here to assist you with any of that. And of course, your mentor is also there to help you. And let them know as you have assignments coming up, so that they can be in the loop on where you're at in your process, because they're not as familiar with the structure and the due dates and all of that. So definitely keep them in the loop on what you're working on and when it's due. That's really helpful for them. And you can also keep that kind of stuff on your calendar. And so if they have you clicked on, they can see like what's due when for you and how they can best help you. So yeah, that's pretty much it. In terms of your proposals, do you guys have questions? I know Isabella, you got to meet Ashley yesterday. How did everything go?
Great, we just like kind of talked about what she's doing and everything,
Mhm.
and I told her I'd email her about our meeting next week. It went good.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Good. So yeah, for your project, we were talking about how to, because the climate action plan, as you know, came out in 2020, and we started this collaborative initiatives board. It pulls together a bunch of local stakeholders in a few different priority areas, and it's kind of in the process of becoming public, because it's supposed to be a public process, is having community members involved in our sustainable goals as a city, and helping to construct the methods and how we're going to reach those goals. So yeah, she is working really hard on outreach and communication and how to really get involvement and traction. And that's kind of always an underlying, not issue, but challenge. You know, we use the newspaper, the radio, social media, but you know, following nonprofit organizations is like not always the most exciting thing. We don't always have like, you know, the kind of content that young people are really interested in. So how to reach people is kind of always something that,
Yeah, reaching out to, she said 20 to 40-year-olds, that age demographic, so.
Yeah, and that's so important, because the 20 to 40-year-olds are the people that are most likely interested in living at the Brown Ranch, which is the affordable housing complex that's going to be built in the next few years. And there's a lot of conversations going on around that, and YBSC is super involved. So it's a really exciting time. I feel like there's a lot of change, and the community is trying really hard to step up our efforts in terms of sustainability. So Ashley's work is really important, and she's really looking forward to having your help on some of this stuff. So that'll be awesome. And that stuff will be more clear next week when you guys have your meeting. Tyler, I think you and Paul are going to work on getting businesses to be encouraged to electrify in a different way than they are, and potentially looking at different methods, might be speaking with HOAs or coming up with methods for how certain types of multifamily units or businesses could implement something. Because everyone's always got a laundry list of reasons why they can't do something. So it's really important to kind of talk about the ways that people have options and make it appealing to them, which Paul is really good at. And he'll have more information. I know electric vehicles are something that he's been putting a lot of effort into this year. They do like ride and drives, which are events where they have people volunteer to bring their Rivian or their Tesla or their like F-150 Lightning, and then they allow other people to either drive them or drive with them in the car, and they can kind of talk about it and have an experience, so that they will maybe be likely to purchase that kind of vehicle. And then they also work really hard on installing electric vehicle chargers. So that's kind of something that he's been really enjoying having Intern help with. So I think that's kind of going to be what your project is focusing on. But again, I'm not 100% sure. He hasn't been here this week. But Connor might also have some more comments, and you'll meet him later.
Okay.
And you'll probably be working with the both of them, but Paul's the director. And then Chloe, you're going to be working with Ryan. Were you able to reach out to him?
I emailed him yesterday.
Okay, awesome.
be back, but
Okay,
yeah, I'll try
Cool.
and meet with him next week, cause I'm gonna leave for like Powell on Thursday, but that's like.
Oh,
in
awesome.
the Beginning of the week, so.
cool. Yeah, what are you guys doing in Lake Powell?
Climbing,
Awesome.
jumping in the water. I
That'll
don't
be
know,
fun.
it'll be fun though, we'll find something to do.
Awesome. That sounds great. But yeah, Ryan should definitely be here next week, hopefully. And so your project, sorry, again, we have so many restoration interns, I want to make sure. So our thought with you, we kind of had two ideas. So it'll be, we have these climate projects where we have a wet meadow restoration project where we go up to North Route and we install these rock dams to help the wetland recharge, and it helps sedimentation flow and all of that. And so we have those projects, and then we also have Retreat, which is one that I'm sure you guys have heard of. That's where we do like a community-wide tree planting, usually along the river somewhere at a location that we've identified as vulnerable. So, but one thing that we don't have, which is really important across scientific sectors, is the monitoring and data collection after you implement something to make sure that things are successful or not. That's kind of a piece that sometimes falls by the wayside. So we're trying to be really thoughtful and build up these programs in a way that has structure for success that we can report on. So something we thought about for you was to help us formulate a protocol for specifically the tree planting projects for how we can monitor their progress moving forward. And then in conjunction with that, we also, kind of similar with Isabella, how do we get youth involved in these kinds of things? Because it is tough, like people bring kids, but we're really lacking in like the 20s to 40s, which is important because, you know, kids coming is great, but sometimes you need the job done in a certain way, and like a 5-year-old can't do it. So, and that's a big piece of it is, you know, if a tree isn't planted correctly and it's not gonna grow properly and it's not gonna survive, you know, then that's an issue. So we really wanna figure out how to involve more young people, and also how do we track that. So a lot of data collection is, we, as a nonprofit, you know, I feel like we really need to be able to express in measurement what we're doing and how it's having an impact. So that's kind of a question that we're always asking ourselves is, what am I working on? What is my goal? And then how am I going to relay the results of that project? How am I going to measure the success or the results of that project? So that's always something that we're keeping in mind with everything we do. So that's something that's a great job for the interns, because it's extremely useful for us, and it's a great way for you guys to practice kind of professional and like technical skills. So that's something that we had in mind for you. And I kind of have like random thoughts written here, but hopefully getting you involved a little bit with Rocky Mountain Youth Corps, which if you haven't heard of them, they involve a wide age range. They do like high schoolers and also like young 20s on different types of projects. They do like trail crews, but they also help us with some of our climate crew projects also. So working with them will be a really, really valuable piece of your internship too.
Is that meeting next Thursday, or did that already happen? Or?
It should,
So, yeah,
it's
next
next
Thursday.
Thursday,
Okay.
yeah, see.
I wasn't sure if that was like.
Just write his calendar really quick and go to, yeah, this is next week. Oh, it looks like it's on Friday,
Okay, cool.
but you said you'd be out of town, so.
Yeah, is it like,
It's
is it on
okay.
Zoom? Or is it like all in person? Because if it's on Zoom, I could totally do that, but.
Doesn't give me any of their details.
That's okay, I'll ask Brian.
We can
too.
find out,
Yeah.
yeah, and again, these are opportunities for you, not requirements,
Okay.
you know, so if you can attend something, and like I mentioned, we require 4 hours of shadowing for with your mentor, and attending meetings is a great way to gain those hours, and also just a perfect way to see how we actually get things done and how things move forward. how we collaborate, what the conversations involve, like, it's a really great way to kind of get an idea of what it is that we do. But again, not a big deal. It's the very beginning of the term. You'll have other opportunities to join meetings in the future, so don't worry about that. Does anyone have any questions about their project or where we're at right now, or anything coming up soon in terms of assignments? All good? Okay, cool. So we kind of have a little bit of a break. If anybody wants to use the bathroom or chill for a sec, I'm gonna pause the meeting. Even though I know that might mess up my recording here. Your screen is paused.